Good morning, everyone. It's crazy because every day tell myself that this really isn't worth it, but then I'm reminded that I said I was going to do this, and I'm going to hold myself accountable via these videos. So I have to continue forward. I'm going into chat. For those who don't know, I'm reading the Bible. I'm going into chapter 30 and 31 today. It is called. Actually, it doesn't have a name. It doesn't have a name. It actually continues with the section of Jacob's children. So I'm going to hop right in because I do have to get to work here soon. I'm going to try to minimize any of my extra dialogue that I insert. Let's get started. So, chapter 30, it says, When Rachel saw that she was not bearing Jacob any children, she became jealous of her sister. So she said to Jacob, give me children or I'll die. So this kind of goes back to what I was reading the other day, where Jacob had two wives. He didn't love Leah so much, so God had blessed her with a lot of children. I think she had four by this time, if I'm not mistaken, four sons. Um, Jacob became angry with her and said, Am I in the place of God who's kept you from having children? Then she said, Here is Bilhah, my servant. Sleep with her so that I can bear children for me, and I too can build a family through her. This is interesting because we've seen this pattern before. We've literally seen this before with Abraham, who was Abram at the time. So this is not new. So she gave him her servant Bilhah as a wife. Jacob slept with her, and she became pregnant and bore him a son. Then Rachel said, God has vindicated me. He has listened to my plea and given me a son because of this, she named him Dan. Well, no, that's not your son. That might be your slave or your servant, but that is not your son. Let's just be real here. Rachel's servant Bilhah conceived again and bore Jacob a second son, and then Rachel said, I have had a great struggle with my sister, and I have won. So she named him Naphtali. So no, you have not had a great war with your sister and have won. Yeah, you may, or what did I say? I said war, a great struggle, sorry. No, you have not. You had the struggle, but you have not beaten your sister because she has birthed four of her own children. But let's continue. When Leah saw that she had stopped having children, she took her servant Zilpah and gave her to Jacob as a wife. Leah's servant Zilpah bore Jacob a son, and Leah said, What a good fortune. So she named him Gad. Leah's servant Zilpah bore Jacob a second son. Then Leah said, How happy am I? The women will call me happy. So she named him Asher. During the wheat harvest, Reuben went out into the field and found some mandrake plants, which he had brought to his mother Leah. Rachel said to Leah, Please give me some of your son's mandrakes. But she said to her, Wasn't it enough that you took away my husband? Will you take away my son's mandrakes too? Ooh. See, this is the problem with polygamy. And I'm not coming at anyone who is in a polygamist relationship, but I cannot see, I refuse to believe that the parties of that relationship don't bear some resentment towards one another, or at least some parties of that relationship. I refuse to believe that because we are not meant to compete for someone else's love, our spouse's love. That's not what we're meant to do. So we're seeing that arise here. Very well, Rachel said. He can sleep with you tonight in return for your son's mandrakes. So when Jacob came from the fields that evening, Leah went out to meet him. You must sleep with me, she said. I have hired you with my son's mandrakes. So she slept with him. So he slept with her that night. God listened to Leah and became pregnant and bore Jacob a fifth son. So Leah's five sons in at this point, right? It doesn't say any daughters. That could be the case. They don't really mention daughters, but that's five sons in to Rachel's zero. And I know her slave, servant, whatever you'd like to call it, had kids, but those aren't hers. All right. She listened to so God listened to Leah And she became pregnant and bore Jacob a fifth son. Then Leah said, God has rewarded me for giving my servant to my husband. So she named him Issachar, Issachar. That's what I'm going with. Leah, oh my goodness, listen to this. Leah conceived again and bore Jacob a sixth son. Then Leah said, God has presented me with a precious gift. This time my husband will treat me with honor because I have borne him six sons. So she named him Zebulun. And they say down here in the notes that Zebulun probably means honor. Which, okay. Sometime later, she gave birth to a daughter and named her Dinah. So, now we are getting a daughter name. So that's interesting because we haven't really gotten any daughter name. Like, we know Adam and Eve had daughters because they say the sons and daughters at its earlier part, but we don't ever get any other names. So that's pretty interesting that a daughter is being named. Not that we haven't had daughters' names before. Obviously, Nahor had his children, and then eventually those people. Terah had Nahor. Nahor had Rebecca, right? And on and on and on. So then God remembered Rachel. He listened to her and enabled her to conceive. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son and said, God has taken away my disgrace. She named him Joseph and said, may the Lord add to me another son. Jacob's flocks increase. So this is the second part, I guess, a continuation of that. It says, after Rachel gave birth to Joseph, Jacob said to Laban, send me on my way so I can go back to my homeland. Or my own homeland, sorry. Give me my wives and children for whom I have served you, and I will be on my way. You know now how much work I've done for you. But Laban said to him, I have found favor in your eyes. Please stay. I have learned by divination that the Lord has blessed me because of you. He added, name your wages and I'll pay them. Jacob said to him, you know how I have worked for you and how your livestock have fared under my care. The little you had before I came has increased greatly, and the Lord has blessed you wherever I have been. But now, when may I do something for my own household? What shall I give you? He asked. Don't give me anything, Jacob replied. And I'm actually on Jacob's side. I work for you, I put in all this work. Let me go do my own thing. Let me be my own man. Let me have my own house, homestead. So I'm on Jacob's side here. I absolutely agree. Now, I don't know about all the wives, but okay. But don't give me anything. But if you will do one thing for me, I will go on tending your flocks and watching over them. Let me go through all your flocks today and remove from them every speckled or spotted sheep, every dark-colored lamb, and every spotted or speckled goat. They will be my wages, and my honesty will testify for me in the future whether or not, whenever you check on the wages you have paid me. Any goat in my possession that is not speckled or spotted, or any lamb that is not dark-colored, will be considered stolen. Agreed, said Laban. Let it be as you have said. That same day he removed all the male goats that had streaked or spotted, and all the speckled or spotted female goats, all that had white on them, and all the dark-colored lambs, and he had placed them in the care of his sons. Then he put a 3-day journey between himself and Jacob, while Jacob continued to tend the rest of Laban's flocks. Jacob, however, took fresh cut branches from poplar, almond, and plane trees and made white stripes on them by peeling the bark and exposing the white inner wood of the branches. Then he placed the peeled branches in all the watering troughs so that they would be directly in front of the flocks when they came to drink. When the flocks were in heat and came to drink, they matted in front of the branches, and they bore young that were streaked or speckled or spotted. Jacob set apart the young of the flock by themselves, but made the rest face the streak and dark-colored animals that belonged to Laban. Thus he had made separate flocks for himself, but did not put them with Laban's animal. Whenever the stronger females were in heat, Jacob would place the branches in the troughs in front of the animals so that they would mate near the branches. But if the animals were weak, he would not place them there. So the weak animals went to Laban, and the strong ones went to Jacob. In this way, the man grew exceedingly prosperous and came to own large flocks and females and male servants and camels and donkeys. So kind of a sleaze bag there at the end, kind of manipulating the livestock to have purposeful outcomes so that he would be gain. He would gain, right? I said be gain. So I'm actually going to cut it there. I thought I would be able to get to 31, but 31 looks really long. That was intense. That was intense. Well, that's an overstatement. Not too much to say. I hope you all have a lovely day. I'll be back tomorrow with more. See you later.